man, that was some creative angel. He's actually gonna be on here next. But before we get to him, let's get to Charm. So Charm, this is I call it the solo session. It's kind of where I kind of get to know because this is let's be friends, and the goal is to become friends. It's a very short period of time, but I think we can get there. I feel like we're in a good start. Like we're vibing right now, right?
Yeah.
She's nodding. Nodding. Okay. So I kind of just where are you from? Where are you from, Charm?
Ooh, that's always a loaded question for me. I was born in D.C., but my family is Peruvian.
Okay.
So yeah, so Peru and D.C.
Okay. Where'd you go to high school?
I went to high school in Maryland. You see how it's complicated?
Yeah. Okay. So I guess we're like what do you claim? Like what? Because I'll say I'm from Ohio.
Yeah.
I was born in Ohio, but I grew up in Orlando.
Yeah.
Right? Went to elementary school, middle school, high school, Orlando. People ask me where I'm from. Ohio is what I say. So what do you say? Like, do you just say D.C. Peru, or do you say Maryland? Like, what's your?
I would say when I'm meeting somebody new, I always keep it simple, DC. But when we're having interviews or I'm getting to know people, I say that I'm still looking for home.
Yeah.
Because DC doesn't feel like home all the time.
Okay.
It's just where I was born.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess when did that artist bug like? And I know we talked earlier. You said you wrote the poem. That's not when it hit, or when did that like hit? Like I want to do. Was it pandemic? Like I want to do part, creative, but like where did that kind of start? It's a awful way of phrasing that question, but
I always wanted to be an artist.
okay.
My parents weren't having it. My mama wanted me to be a doctor or a lawyer. But I remember very young. Y'all remember the Disney thing camp that they had, and they would try to recruit kids and then get them to pay to do commercials and all these different things. You guys remember that? No. Well,
No.
Disney a long time ago when I was a little kid, they would go around and they would set up these like talent camps and they would have you
Okay.
audition.
Yeah.
And somehow I heard about it when I was like 7 or 8, and I dragged my mom to it. And I was like, I want to go, I want to do this. So I've always had like the artist bug. I've always wanted to do it.
Yeah. That's what's up. I remember because I grew up down here, and they would have like I'd be watching like Nickelodeon,
Yeah.
and they'd be like sliming people. And I'm like, man, I wish I could do something like that.
Yeah.
I wonder where it happened like in my backyard. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here like, man, that's happening in the coolest place.
Right.
It's like happening like 20 minutes down the road. But I didn't have that like like that I guess what's the word here I'm looking for like that. That's the sound effect. No, that drive to want to actually like as a kid I was like more concerned with like playing with video games.
Yeah.
And you're out here trying to change the world. That's what's up.
I
Man.
guess maybe that's how you want to put it.
So let's kind of break it down. What are all your like creative hats that you wear?
Okay.
Let's kind of get into it. Yeah.
I'm glad you asked me that. I wear a lot of creative hats. However, what I have found is that they are all the same thing. For example, I'm a poet, I am a comedian, I am a writer, I'm an improver, I'm an actress, I do YouTube, and what else am I good? I do editing, video editing, and graphic design. That's how I make my money. That's what I went to school for.
Okay.
So I'm an all around creative, but at the heart of it, what connects everything are words.
Okay,
Especially poetry, comedy, freestyle, rap, and writing. So yeah, did that answer your question?
Yeah, and I've done a little research. We chatting in the past about comedy. So tell me a little bit about I guess bitters and bottles. Right? Is that where you're at, or cocktails and comedy?
Yeah, cocktails and comedy. So okay. Cocktails and Comedy is a room that I helped co-produce and co-run with Hannibal Callens, a very talented comedian, clean comedian. Shout out to Hannibal. And really, what happened there is that Hannibal, being my friend, he asked me to help him in a time of need to hold down the room for him. And from there, the type of person I am, I go all in with anything, especially if it's my friend. And I wanted to make it the best room possible because it was going to be a welcome home present for him because he's not here right now. And so I learned from there that I'm a really good organizer, a really good producer. And the room has grown. We do monthly showcases where we get to pay comedians, novice comedians, amateur comedians, which is a huge deal in the comedy scene. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I've been checking you out. I've been checking just like all the hosts coming in. A lot of the hosts have been like guests on my show. I think that's how I found out about your spot was I think I had maybe Jess Torres on or something, or maybe Ash Cash. One of those fabulous comedians. And I was like, oh, they're at Cocktails, and I kind of did my Instagram lurker thing. I was like, oh, well, this is that. It's like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, you know, where
Yeah.
you're like going here, 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 and that's how I found Cocktails. It's cool.
I feel you. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a beautiful place. The energy there, really, the goal there is to develop comedians,
Okay, yeah.
and to really give comedians a chance to have a sense of validation, because that any artist needs validation, but comedy's a little bit different, I would say. And so what I'm really proud of there that we've done with Hannibal is that we get to validate comedians through not just pay, but through a growing audience that comes out there even for the free open mics. The last open mic we had about 50 people there.
Wow,
So yeah.
man, that's nice because I know with like with other mics like Grumpy's, I hosted Grumpy's a few weeks ago. I love Grumpy's. No shade to Grumpy's, but it's
Yeah.
like it's an open mic, but it does not feel like you're supposed to be doing comedy there.
Yeah, what does it
Just-
feel like?
It feels like it's just sad. It's just sad. Well, because it's a bunch of
Don't do
comedians.
that to Grump.
And I'm actually gonna put Grumpy's on blast real quick. It's a bunch of comedians, and they have like this nice, it's not really nice, like outside area that like people just come do their set, and then they just like go outside, and then like the actual crowd of people, it's like not a lot of people there, and some people just there to drink, and so like it's a great location, great spot. But maybe I was there on an off night where people were more, I guess, more. They wanted to just perform and not listen.
Yeah.
And so I think the vibe that you've cultivated there with your room is more of a community feel. Does that sound?
That's what we're trying to do. We're
Yeah.
trying to make it a community feel. And I would say that every comedy room in Orlando offers something different. So Grumpy's has its own benefits in different ways.
True,
You know,
true,
so
yeah.
it's a tough room, but it says a lot about a comedian who can perform for one person and still
Yeah.
keep that energy, you know?
That is true. 'Cause I think with Grumpy's, I love going just because I love when you got a set and it's like it's funny and you're still bombing. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And so you're just like talking to one guy, like, all right, you gotta laugh for the whole room. And even if you have like that one, like the 3 people laughing in the room, it's still bombing, but
Right.
it's still funny,
Mhm.
and it's fun to kind of just like keep going, you know,
Mhm.
keep trotting on
It
down
is,
the
it
comedy road.
Keep going. You gotta do it.
So
Gotta-
what's your favorite? This is a bad question. What's your favorite thing? Like what? Like you can only pick one, but Charm, we're having you come on, you know, Thursday night, and you can do 5 minutes, but it has to be one thing. What's that one thing you're gonna do?
I would definitely do comedy. No
Okay.
lie. I feel that comedy encompasses everything. Humor and food. We'll talk about food. Well, I mean, it's your show, never mind. but what I've learned in life is that food and comedy can unite different nations.
Yeah.
And not even comedy itself, humor. And so I feel like I could do a comedic poem, or I could do a comedic rap, you know, or I could do a joke or something. And it would be received well. But poetry in itself, when you
Yeah.
think about poetry, you think about, oh, it's gonna be sad, right? That's, even though there's all different types of poems, there's a seriousness behind being a poet. And then when
Yeah.
you think about freestyle rap, you think about, oh, this person's gonna be hard, gonna be a gangster, gonna do whatever, you know, you feel me? But it's not it's not always that, because there's different types of freestyle rappers, you feel me?
Okay.
So yeah, I would say comedy.
Let's talk about food.
Okay, what about food? I love
well,
food.
Here's what we're gonna do. 'Cause
Mac and cheese.
I have a lot more questions for you.
Okay, go ahead.
But the problem is, like, I'm running out of time.
Oh.
I feel the time. So I'm just gonna rapid fire these questions to you.
Okay.
So it's gonna be like your first thought.
First thought, got
Put
it.
it out there. Okay. So what did you have for breakfast this morning?
Nothing.
Nothing. What's the best Denzel Washington movie?
Oh, Malcolm X.
Okay. If you could vacation anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Hawaii.
Okay. Read my mind.
Books.
Okay. You get one album the rest of your life. What is it?
No, don't do that to me. Michael Jackson Bad.
Okay. What's the last show you watched?
Ooh. The Simpsons.
Okay. Best food spot in Orlando. Wait, which episode of The Simpsons were you watching?
I don't remember.
Okay. What's the best food spot in Orlando?
Jam N in downtown Orlando.
Okay. What's the most used app on your phone?
Use that Instagram.
Last gift you gave somebody.
A Barbie.
And your favorite cold drink?
Ooh, matcha.
Okay. And for what in your life do you feel most grateful for? And just quickly here.
Ooh, being alive, yo.
Being alive.
Being alive.
Okay. See, look,
Yes.
that was. We got some food in there. I feel like I know you more. You watching The Simpsons.
Yes.
I was watching Simpsons a few weeks ago.
You were?
I was at a hotel, and so I can't really control what I'm watching.
Yeah.
And it was this episode. It was like a weird election episode.
Mm-hmm.
It was funny. My kid, we don't watch much TV at the house, and so he saw a cartoon and he was like glued to it, and I was like, oh, whatever. Like,
Your kid was watching The Simpsons?
Yeah, he was liking it. Man. He was like, I guess it was the yellow people, and so
yeah,
this is cool. He's used to like Miss Rachel or so.
He might turn into comedian because I watched The Simpsons when I was a very little kid.
Oh yeah.
So, and I wasn't supposed to be.
So before I get you out of here, I do want to know, performance-wise, you got like a poem you want to do? You got like a rap? You got like what's going on? Let me know, because I definitely want to.
Yeah, I would love to perform a poem for y'all. Wanted to say that I started off as a page poet, and there's a little bit of beef in the poetry community that I've learned between page poets and spoken word artists. So, but I do both, and spoken word artists tend to memorize their poems. I haven't memorized a poem in a long time, so
okay.
I'm a spit this from the page, and it's for my dad. It's called Elegy for Faulty Fathers. Papa, my dreams paint poised pigments of you, dancing on clouds of magenta, swinging your arms, arched back and swaying hips adorned with the forbidden fruit of your smile, drumming your cajon, singing your heritage, music residing within the crevice of your chest. I memorize the tap dance of your heartbeat. Thumping música negra. Like pyramids, you ascend into momentary existence. You are a dancing daydream in gentleman hues, man of perplexing beauty, all worms and honey, a rolling stone of light feathered cares, heavy adventures, wrestling with filthy bosoms of once beautiful women, Cuban sweethearts, American seductions, bedsides in Machu Picchu. Papa didn't rest for days. With his swinging arms, arched back and swaying hips, entrancing women with his beauty of perplexity, all steel-toed, saffron skin, his gravitation an incantation, his voodoo legs jumping, black magic daddy dancing, you samba'd your Saturdays into sunrises of Sunday's grace. With Christ's blood to go rounds, you tango on